Hello Raindrops, welcome to Government Minutes that matter. This is Mr. A asking you for 3 favors. Like and share this video, subscribe to this channel, and click on that notification bell so you know when our videos come out. As always, this video is dedicated to the glory of God who blessed this land. I'm going to talk to you about something that might upset your stomach, so be ready. Make sure you just haven't had a heavy meal, or make sure you're sitting down, make sure you're near the bathroom, got some Pepto-Bismol on hand. I'm going to talk to you about political parties. Political parties. We all know the major ones, the Democrats and the Republicans, but that's not all of them. We'll talk a little bit about what a party is. We'll talk about the parties that are here in the United States, the major ones anyway, and we're going to talk about political ideology as well. Let's talk about what a political party is. A political party is a group of persons who seek to control government through the winning of elections and the holding of public office. Yes, the whole game, the whole goal of the political party is to win office and control the government. That certainly describes their Democrats and Republicans. Over the years, the Democrats and Republicans have changed with the wind so they can keep winning elections. And the only thing Democrats and Republicans hate more than each other are minor parties. There are some minor parties in the United States. You may have heard of some of them. We'll talk a little bit about each one here. I'll show you some websites. There will be some links down in the description of this video, so you can link to those parties there, read what they're all about. You have a general idea what the Democrats and the Republicans are about. So let's talk about some other parties. Those are some of the minor parties we have in the United States. Again, I will post a link in the description of all those parties so you can look them up yourself, read about what they believe. Democrats and Republicans, again, the thing they dislike more than each other are third parties. Third parties tend to siphon votes from the main parties, and so the Democrats and Republicans want as many votes as they can get. So the political parties serve a few functions. Political parties, number one, they nominate candidates. Before you get to run for president as a Democrat or as a Republican, you have to beat the other Democrats or the other Republicans in your party for the nomination. That's what the nominating process is. We'll talk about that a little bit later. They inform and activate supporters, especially in times of electronic communications, emails, Facebook, and the like. It's easy for the parties to get their message out to their supporters and activate them to do something. They act as a bonding agent. Not every Republican is pro-life. Not every Democrat is pro-abortion. So what you have is the bonding agent of the party, which acts as a glue to hold the parts together that don't always agree. So you might have, in the Republican Party, you might have most of them anti-abortion or pro-life, but you have some pro-choice or pro-abortion Republicans as well. They don't agree on that. But they do agree on the economic philosophy of the Republican Party, so that holds them together, that acts as a bonding agent. They govern by party. The House and Senate are both organized so that the majority party gets to control. Right now, the Democrats have more members in the House and more members in the Senate, so they control both the House and Senate. So that's how they govern by party. And they act as a watchdog on the other party. For example, right now, the Democrats control the White House, the House, and the Senate, so the Republicans are the watchdog. Now, what do watchdogs do? They bark. They bark and bark and bark and bark when something's not right. Well, the Republicans right now bark at everything they think the Democrats are doing wrong. And when the Republicans are in charge, the Democrats act as a watchdog and bark and bark and bark when they think that Republicans are doing something wrong. So it's almost like another check and balance on the party in power. So it's kind of a good thing to have the opposition party point out when the main party is doing something wrong. Last thing I want to talk about is the political spectrum. Here in America, the political spectrum runs from left to right. As you go left, that's more government control. You go to the right, less government. For instance, on the far left you have communism, total government control of everything. The political sphere, the economic sphere, so they control everything. On the far right, you have anarchy, no government at all, no control at all. Democrats tend to line up middle left. So you have some Democrats who are centrist, a little more conservative for a Democrat. And you have some Democrats who are socialists, who call themselves socialists. And some would say communists. On the Republican side, they line up center-right, which means they line up in the center. You have some liberal for Republicans, and you have some Republicans who are libertarians, which means very, very little government. And so it is amazing that in the middle you have some overlap, where you have some Democrats who are more conservative than some Republicans. So when you hear the terms liberal, that means more government. Now that's the definition now. Definitions change over time, but right now, liberal means more government, and conservative means less government. Communism is total government control. Anarchy is no government whatsoever. And so those, when you hear those terms, left-wing, right-wing, conservative, liberal, libertarian, socialist, that's what they mean. The further left on the spectrum you go, the more government you want. The further right you go on the spectrum, the less government you want. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you paid attention, because there will be a test at the next election. This is Mr. Ray reminding you that we, the people, are the government. We'll see you next time.